For the rest of this morning into lunch, we're going to be talking about collections. Cool. Alright, so what I want to do is I want to go back into our terminal, do a quick tree, figure out where we're at, don't work in directory. Alright, so I want to make another directory. It's going to be called collections. And I'm going to make another file. It'll be inside collections, and it'll be reminders. I'm sorry? Yeah, we're gonna make a new directory in our existing file structure. It'll be called collections. And then we're going to make a new file within that directory, and it'll be called reminders.js. Cool. All right, we're going to go ahead and go into that directory and into that file.
Go back to
Sure. Yep. So all we did was we made a directory, collections, under the JS folder, and then we made a file, remindersplural.js, and collections. All right, so in this reminders.js, which is in my collection folder, I'm going to instantiate var reminders collection. I just want to highlight real quick before we move on is this is just to really show you guys that this is a model and this is a collection constructor function. But when you go to actually write your backbone applications, the convention is just to have this, just reminders. But I'm just going to be extra explicit for this very first class. So again, var reminders collections, collection singular. And then I'm just going to do backbone .collection.extend. I'm just going to have this have an initialize function just to start, since we know what that is. I always feel like I misspell initialize. Yeah. Reminders collection was created. And again, this initialize function, this is where you would put logic. And we're going to learn about how to add models to this collection. And this is where you would add an event listener to like that add function. All right? So again, this initialize function is to, when you instantiate it, just listen for things here. And by that I mean we're going to define what we're listening for inside this initialize function. We're not doing it right now, but just to give you a foreshadowing of what's to come when Adam and Jeff go into views and routing. Cool. So the other thing we want to pass in here is the model type. And we have a cool new reminder model that we're going to define here. So again, reminder model is just this model that we defined in our models.js, or reminder.js. And we're just referring to it here. And we're saying, hey, this collection that I'm talking about, this backbone collection that I'm extending the functionality for, its model type is going to be reminder model. So the models that go into this collection are going to be that of a reminder model. So it's going to be a collection of reminder models. So just to reiterate, we add the model as an attribute of the collection so that any objects we add to this collection will be passed in as objects of the reminder backbone model that we defined in the reminder.js here. All right, cool. Preston? So the question is, do we need to name both of them reminder.js? If you'll notice here, if I actually highlight it closely, if we go a little bit closer, this is reminders.js. And then the model name is reminder.js. You could. you need to make sure that your dependencies are loaded accurately. So like the only difference of the naming convention, again, Backbone doesn't care, right? Backbone doesn't care what you call your files and your folders. So it's more like a library in that sense. But you just need to make sure that in your index.html, if you did do that, you would need to make sure that this is reminder model.js or something like that, right? Cool. So we also, I'm glad you asked that question, otherwise I would look like an idiot. We also need to include this new source tag. So this is going to be JS collections, reminders.js. But to also further add to that question, Preston, is generally speaking, the convention is to name your folders and files like this for Backbone. Yeah, sure. Cool. All right, so now that we've got it included, we've got this collections definition installed as one of our dependencies. And this is our reminders collection. Pause here for a moment. What's up, Oli?
So first, as a script source comes models, then collections, all the time, right?
Yep. Not, well, yeah, I guess maybe all the time. I hesitate to always use the always word or the never word, right? But yeah. The thing to note here is that in the index.html file, we load up our dependencies for Backbone. Then we define the model here in this script file. We use this model definition within the collection definition, right? So we want to make sure that that's instantiated before we can define it here,
Okay.
define the collection here. And then we're creating both in this app.js. So the order is very important.
So we created an instance of the reminder model. What is the collection? What is collection doing for us?
So the question is, when we create a new model, right? When we create a new object of the model that we defined,
Yeah.
what does the collection do for us?
Yeah.
Basically nothing. The collection, we just use the model as a template. I don't want to use the word template. As a structure for what objects being passed into this collection are going to exist as. And they're going to exist as reminder models. So if we add like a random JavaScript object, a regular JavaScript object with key value pairs, if we add that to this collection, it's going to fit the mold of this reminder model.
Where the CID goes?
It will create a CID for that object. It'll basically it'll call the initialize function and all that's abstracted in that initialize function on that model. I think if once I go more into this lesson, it'll shed some more light on your question.
Okay.
Is there another question?
No, I think I'll wait until we.
Okay, cool. All right. So again, this is just to say, hey, I have a Backbone collection. Its model type is the reminder model. That's all it's saying right now. Cool. All right. So in our app.js, we haven't changed anything here. We're still going to have these three new reminders being created: reminder, reminder 1, and reminder 2. All right. Here you go. Back to my notes. Okay. So how do we set models on a collection, you might ask? So let's just go ahead and refresh this page. Oh God, Backbone is not defined. What happened? Why is Backbone not defined? That looks right. Let's go ahead and close out of that. Sorry, all right, so I don't know what was going on there, but I reloaded the page and it's working fine now. All right, cool. So now what we can do is we can just instantiate a new collection. Var collection is equal to new reminders collection. And of course, the initialize function was called. So if we go back into Atom, we see that we have an initialize function. Reminders collection was created. So we know our Backbone collection was created, in fact. Let's go ahead and look at it. Collection. So you notice a couple things. It has some weird stuff here. It has a length property. It has a models, Interesting. Its array is 0. It's got an initialize function and a constructor function. Cool. So this, if we open up this models, it says length is 0. It doesn't have any objects in it now. So we can add some models to it. So something we can do here is collection dot add reminder. And it's just going to return that reminder object that we just added. So if we go back into collection, now we can see our models has an array of 1. So we can actually go into here, see 0, and this looks familiar. This is our learn backbone, and it's false. So again, all I did was I added a reminder to this collection by calling add on the collection itself. I passed in the reminder object that I instantiated in my app.js file, which is right here. So on line 3, I'm creating a new reminder. On line 4, I'm setting its attributes. And just to rehash, its defaults to completed false. So when I create it in my app.js, on line 3, it already has a completed value of false. And then on line 4, I'm just setting the body to learn backbone. And then in my browser, I just said, hey, I want a new collection. Collection's empty right now, which is this collection right here, array 0. I added this reminder to it, right? Now if I call collection again, it has array 1. If I dive into this collection, I can scroll down. I can go into my models right here. It has a whole bunch of, well, it has a object so far. If I click on 0, that's the zeroth element of the array, which is the very first object that I literally just added. So now if I go down, this looks identical to the reminder models that reminder objects that we were accessing before. Ali?
So if we did collection dot add reminder 1 or 2, the body would be different, the one that we defined earlier, right?
Can you repeat the question?
So if we did collection dot add reminder 1, the 0th object attribute body would be
The 0th would still be the same.
oh,
Now we would just append. Now we would have 2.
Yeah. Okay.
So what you're asking is, if I add another reminder, right?
Yeah. Then
What's going to happen?
It's going to be the eat yours finish thing for.
I think it's the other one.
Or
Take a nap or whatever.
Yeah, take a nap.
Yeah. Is my existing one going to be replaced?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Cool. And we can see that by just going into collection, hitting enter.
I'm getting collection not defined, so I know I must have something wrong.
Yeah, I don't help you out right there. Let me just finish this answer real quick. So you also notice, like, once I added this second reminder, now my array is 2. So I've opened up this collection. I go down to models. I now have 0 and I have 1. This one will be take a nap, right?
Another quick question.
And this
What's
one
that
will
S
be-
thing that you always see in the beginning and at the end as well.
S thing? Oh, this?
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure. Adam, do you know what this S is?
Sorry. Where?
Right here in front of the collection. And then also,
Not a big deal. I was just kind of curious.
yeah, I'm curious now too.
That is the that would be the name of the constructor function. So internally, I guess to that
All right, there you go. Name of the constructor function. Adam doesn't look too sure about that though. All right, cool. Any questions on adding?
Can you select that collection?
Yeah.
Actually, I do have a question.
Hold on, one at a time. Let me select this collections code first, real quick. All right. And your question?
So if you added an object with different attributes from the collection that belongs to a specific model, like what?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do that, right? Because you'll notice that, that's a great question. You'll notice that inside of our reminders model, we're not really defining what our attributes need to be. We could literally have passed in anything that we wanted. We just know what a reminder is and we arbitrarily assign body to it, right? But we can go in here into our console, and I'm just gonna do collection.add, and then I'm just gonna pass in an object here. Pizza, French fries, French fist, something else, another thing. And I close this off and I hit enter. See how it just created a new model? But you'll notice that it says CID4 here. C4. So in actuality it's creating a new reminder model. It is. Because if it wasn't a reminder model, it wouldn't have a CID, right? It wouldn't be a backbone model. So if we go in and, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, and I guess the other thing I was wondering is if you have like something that belongs to a different model, like an object that is like var, or not, it's like a variable. I'm sorry, an instantiation of a different model, like so not a reminder but a task or a.
So if we created a new
Yes, and then you
model
passed like that object to a different model.
I want to say it'll change it into. That's interesting. Let's try it out. That's what's great about code. Is if you ever have a question, you can just try it. So Allison's question is, if we had a different type of model, backbone model, and we passed that into the collection, what would happen? And I'm not entirely sure. So let's go. I think what's going to happen, and this is just totally hypothesizing, is that it's going to convert it into a reminder model with its given attributes, and then be passed in as the collection. But let's just go ahead and see. Model to-dos, because I want to be super creative. All right, Mictor.js model, and you guys don't have to follow along. I actually encourage you not to follow along for this.
Is this if you have two models, is that right?
I think it's models is the folder.
Yeah, I'm silly. JS models to do. No.
No.
Alright, that could just be a folder in there. I don't care anymore. God. Sorry. I didn't get much sleep last night. Cool. So yeah, so hold on. Var to do one equals new to do model. I'm so wasting you guys' time right now.
It's my fault.
Okay, so it worked. It entered it into. I just wondering about the CID. So if we go into models, this is, yeah, it worked. So I think what it's doing is it's converting it into a reminder model and adding it to the collection. Cool. Sorry about that segue. I was curious too. All right. We got 5 minutes left. I just want to go over set real quick. All right. So just like a reminder model, we can set the models within the collection. Now, only in the models we are setting attributes. In the collection, we're going to be setting the models themselves. So if we do collection.set, and we pass in reminder and reminder1. So now we do collection. You'll notice that it replaced the existing models that were inside of the array with the 2 new ones. Alright? So we did collection.set. We passed in an array of reminders. And what that did was it took out the existing ones and reset them.
And is it finding them by name or is it finding them by space in the array? Or
It's well, these are saved as reminder objects. So we're literally just passing in the reminder objects within an array. So it's an ordered list of these reminder objects. And we're passing that ordered list into the collection as the argument for set. So these 2 reminders now become the collection. All right. And then,
Isn't those 2 reminders already in collection, right?
what's that?
Those 2 reminders were already in collection.
No, I just set them here on this line.
Oh,
before it was like 5.
Right.
5 things, and now it's because of
It's
what
2.
you said it's 2.
oh.
Right. Cool.
So you basically just combine them, right?
No, I didn't combine anything. I replaced the original collection with this new set. So
But I
set
mean-
sets it.
When you just go into models, it's pretty much the same.
What's that?
When you go into models, array like 2,
Yeah.
you go into like attributes or anything like that, everything is still the
All right. So
I
just
don't
to
understand what exactly changed.
yeah. So I had this to do right, and the to do was attributes were pizza and French fries, right? Oh, also notice that it's now completed false, even though I didn't have that default. Well, maybe I did. I don't know. Anyways.
No, not. Oh, maybe you did.
Yeah, I think I did.
Yeah,
I think I did. So I have this to do, right? So if I do collection, and then if I look at my current collection, which is up here, right? I have learning backbone, and I have take a nap, right? If I do collection, and notice that it's 2, right? If I do collection.set to do, like that, now I do collection, you'll notice I only have 1 instance now, and it's been replaced. So set overrides what was existing in the set, and sets the models that you pass in as the collection.
Because previously we had reminder 1, and reminder 2. Now we only have reminder and reminder 1, right?
Yeah, and now we only have this to do, which is just a reminder.
Collection is just an array of our model. Why can't we just declare an array and switch it up to our array?
Because collection has more awesome functionality than just a regular old dummy stupid array. I mean that's basically why. Backbone provides a lot more functionality with a collection than it does an array. Cool. All right, so there's also another way we can set collections, and it's on instantiation. So if I do var new collection is equal to new. Oh, that's a terrible name. Let's name it something else. List of reminders. That's also a terrible name, but it's better than the last one. New reminders collection. And right here we can just pass in reminder 1, reminder 2. And now we have another collection. So we can either instantiate a new collection and then call set on it to figure out which objects we want to place in it. We can pass in the objects we want to place in it as an argument for when we initialize it. Or we can add individual reminder objects to an existing collection. Cool. And just a couple other things that I want to go over. Actually, I'll just go over them after lunch. So cool. Real quick, let's rehash. Someone tell me how libraries are different from frameworks. Brad.
Frameworks have more structure.
Yeah. That's basically
Libraries.
it. Yeah. What are libraries then? And how are libraries and frameworks similar?
I mean, I think of a library as something that like you use bits and pieces of.
Yeah, it abstracts code. It allows us to write code faster and easier. Cool. Enoch, what are the benefits of using a front-end framework?
Logical, you separate it.
Yeah, separation concerns. Anything else? Allows us to do everything on the client side, right? So really the only interaction with our backend is when we have to sync our front end with our backend. Okay, cool. Did we define a new backbone model and create instances of it? I think so. Did we perform CRUD actions on a backbone model? I think so. Preston, what's a collection in backbone?
What?
A collection in backbone?
Collections are like an array of models.
Yeah, basically. Just with a little extra functionality as well. Cool. And did we use the backbone collection to store models? I think so. And we haven't really gotten to this yet, but we'll get to that after lunch. So enjoy your lunch. Be back at 1:33.